the point of upon return of the refined crude oil, you now have disbursing it from one place to the other. There's so many people who benefit from one thing or the other in the oil sector. And if the NNPCL is being sincere, then they should actually look at some of the giants in Nigeria who are beneficiaries of the problems our oil sector is facing. Maybe we'll be able to look at a way forward for the oil sector. We'll be looking into more details with Rufai, Oseni and Mr. Larry in just a moment. Meanwhile, Dangote is warning that the interest rate of CBN at 30% will stifle growth and hinder job creation. Dangote has warned the CBN that in May, the Monetary Policy Committee on CBN raised the interest rates from about 6.25%. Now, Dangote has come out to talk about the fact that he understands the growth. So interest rates can remain at 30%, but then no growth will happen unless that interest rate goes down, right? If you look at Dangote Cement and taxes, you see that Dangote Cement alone paid more taxes into the coffers of the government than the entire banking industry in 2023. It has also talked about protecting, adding that it's common knowledge that foreign investors only enter the market when they see the look, that he's convinced that when government and protective like other challenges like infrastructure deficits, market instabilities, macroeconomic issues such as inflation, foreign exchange volatility. If you look at some of the things that he's talking about, job creation, the growth of the economy, and if the government policies become more supportive and protective of their investors, then more investors will be even more willing to collaborate and partner with the government in terms about the interest rate at 30%, according to the CBN. Then you're looking. Meanwhile, let's look at who said what in the news. These are the voices in the news. And will commit 5 billion naira to the construction of the permanent orientation camp of the NYSC in the state. He also announced a gift of 200,000 naira. Really, really interesting. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
All COP members serving today are entitled to. So you have 200,000 each of you. I understand 1,600. So we're going to credit your account to the director NYSC Niger State. We want to build a brand new 1,000 bonus from Niger Farm.
Each of them are right. Yes, 320 million naira. 312-8618. That is the number to call to be a part of the conversation this morning. We still have someone else in the news this morning talking about the CAC launching the special registration portal. It's a new portal that has been designed to simplify. Then they can go ahead and use that SRP. It's a special registration portal.
Nigeria.
I say, my Lord and personal Savior Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you for joining us today. My name is Michael Obina Nwabufo, also known as Mike Premium, to access this support. Am I right? Thank you so much.
www.pccsign.org.ng. That is the website to go ahead and register your business. If you're a skip maker, operators as well, you can go ahead and register your business at pccsign.org.ng. Right? So PCC actually means practitioners of content creating many fronts.
That your complaint is not just about Wiki. You have also been quoted as saying that you are excluded from most of our party, or do you think it's because you are the National Assembly?
It's not because I'm a woman. In all fairness to the Senate as a body, it's not very difficult to exclude the women, and they do not exclude us. We get involved in as many things as we like to. And most of the time, yes, your party matters a little bit, but not seriously. If you want me to be honest, this boils down to the fact that the Senate President is a personal friend of the Honorable Minister of the FCT. So when things that they think Senator Kingibe might object to are brought, I'm not sure. As I said, this is a topic I'd rather wait taxes, I plan on coming back to you in another week to discuss in details. I was planning to have a general discussion with you today, but I am on several committees and not excluded from any of them. Can the Senate that we can discuss it?
Okay, I get the point about the friendship with Napa Wiki. There's also something about style and look that you expect that he will report to you, and I hear.
And it has to do with my style, but if it is, you can look at the Senate proceedings and advise me because they're all recorded.
Okay, but I'm interested.
Specific to the Senate, but they're specific to any state for renovating 20 in my tama. Just shows you the level of insecurity. We have so many. So in the bigger thing, okay, some of these things.
Lots in the news to cover. Well, we'll be reaching. This is 7:32 already. We're reaching out to Rufai Oseni in just a moment. So go ahead and keep it locked right here. Meanwhile, you have the opportunity to call 0808 312 8618 0808 312 8618. We're live on YouTube as well. How could I have forgotten that? We're live on YouTube. Go ahead and give us drop a comment right there. You can join the live. It is at Voice of the People Abuja. Voice of the People Abuja. You can join us live right there. Voice of the People Abuja. Join us and leave a comment or two on live as well. 0805, but in time we'll be checking out another audio, another voice. Okay, we have him on. Good morning, Mr. Rufai, and welcome. I'm fine, thank you so much. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. We have the federal government exempting small businesses, manufacturers and farmers from paying withholding tax, and the federal government's ongoing initiative to reduce tax burdens and optimize revenue. It achieved a significant enforcement of these policies in January. But what's your take on this?
That's a decent one. I think it will help reduce all the effect of the withholding tax with small businesses, and you'll be able to help them, get a leeway in their businesses. That's a government, That way, human reforms and taxes, used to be a top tax partner of PwC. And he's got the empirical stats, and he's been able to push this in. And let's see how partisan works in the economy, because there will be trade-offs in the economy.
Some of them were redundant. Some, having that significant amount of taxes that businesses pay, we're not raking in as much with the taxes that we had. Are we going to see a switch up in the number of taxes?
How is always advocated for collapsing this into 2, 3, 4 taxes. So how they can effectively strip out all the taxes into 2, 3, 4 taxes that can avail much as regards tax revenue generation and increase our tax to GDP ratio. I think what we should look at. So let's say it pans out in the coming days. I'm sure it's going to have more rational measures, and the transition of the committee will continue.
Okay, we have the NNPCL on one hand declaring a state of emergency regarding crude oil production in Nigeria. They talked about the fact that they have the assets that is going to help them to fight anyone who is preventing in the country. And some people have argued that, well, do you have the political wherewithal to search yourself to ensure that you also are not contributing to the issues that we have in oil production in the country?
It's diversity and going to deeper waters, because of the challenges and the shallow waters. Yesterday we were talking about these things. Is it today that even when refineries came on stream, availability of crude oil is a challenge? Is it today? So let's leave it at this. They would definitely for to people not still agree and everything. Finally, when I announced the state creation that day in 96, 20, we waited, we didn't hear Jebu State. We didn't hear properly. Then there was no social media. That's why you needed to watch the NTA news, 9 o'clock news attentively. Because that was one of your national sources then. As at that time, there's the any private media, only AIT and Rain Power. Then because in Nigeria, but made the law that okay, private owners can have media houses, what's it called, audio media houses, electronic media houses. So we waited and it never became reality. And I saw the complexities and I saw the bureaucracy that goes through. So at an early time, advantage experience of what it entails.
Okay, Mr. Rufai, maybe you can do a little expose on to help us understand what exactly it entails in creating a new state. Just how
it entails number one a lot of lobbying. Secondly, it entails a lot of infighting. Then you start to make all sorts of enemies. It entails a lot of betrayal.
Infighting within whom? Is it the National Assembly or you
No,
have
among the folks that are pushing this now,
okay.
there's a lot of infighting. They're going to those that are saying that I've come to learn, those that are saying they are united with you is a lie. Like because they see something that aligns with their interests. So it entails a lot of that. Then the bureaucratic architecture to run the state. Why you are creating state? Because you want another cap in hand begging from federal government, isn't it? Already stressed the revenue that were complaining that's not enough for the 36 states in the first place. Isn't it? So it's another bureaucracy. Then you will now raise another set of state thugs in those states that are created. And they are never a center of excellence. They're never a center of productivity. They all go to take from the center.
Let's move on to NIMSI. It has been in the news for a while now, talking about there were allegations or revelations that the personal data of Nigerians were available for purchase online at fee. I mean, it sparked a wide individual rights and potential economic repercussions on individuals as well. So right now we have the N7 and it's passed the second reading in the Senate. The bill provides for a established national identity database, and the NIMSI is charged with cities for the maintenance, which is confusing to me, Mr. Rufai, because isn't this what the NIMSI already does?
Everything is very confusing in this country. So NIMSI now that so-called claim they have data stored, and obviously the detected data.
All right, let's move on from there and get on to this particular bill by the Senate to allow foreigners in Nigeria obtain NIN.
What?
Foreigners who are resident in Nigeria to obtain an NIN. The Senate passed it for second reading yesterday.
It's also good for their document's identity. There's no big deal about that.
All right. Lastly, before we let you go, on the international scene, we have hurricane and almost the whole island has been rendered homeless in a couple of hours. We have Hurricane Beryl tore through the idyllic home of Union Island with the ferocious force, and it was taken aback by the extent of devastation which lay before her. This is in Mexico. We have so many issues like that. At the moment, there's a town that has torn down. The devastation of the attack of the hurricane in it. What's your take on that?
That's things, sir. It's hurricane season, also you know, there are conversations about global warming, climate change, and other conversations like that. So the hurricane season, we should just be careful. Thank you for getting everything.
Okay, we also have Biden blame jet level for poor debate performance. Mr. Rufai.
Biden is just talking. He's an Irishman, right? So he's just talking what I call delusional, bollocks, rubbish. He did fall in the debate. He need to accept that and see how to do better. Stop talking bollocks. It's just rubbish.
November is the time for the election, so we'll wait and see if the Americans actually.
But most importantly is the elections in the UK tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll give you some breakdown of the best UK elections.
All right. Thank you so much and have yourself a good day. Opportunity to call and be a part of the conversation. 0700 010 That's okay. 0700 961 is our WhatsApp line. You can go ahead and send a message to that, as well as call the studio line 0808 312 8618. Go ahead and give me a call 0808 312 8618. That is the number to call to be a part of our conversation this morning. Go ahead and hit me up. Let me know what you think about any of our headlines right about now. If you have a contrary thought to what Rufai said, then go ahead and give us a call as well. Looking at the news, we also have the Southeast states, two more Southeast states, and Rufai is of the opinion that you just want to create more problems where there ought to be none. So you have the Senate on Tuesday passing first reading bills that are seeking to create two additional South Indian that other states should be created in a bid to reduce the level of marginalization that the Southeasterners have been feeling so far. Do you think it would actually go a long way to even reduce it? I mean, when it comes to marginalization, you talk about appointments, especially during the Buhari's administration, that were a bit lopsided, got at the center and request for it. Give us a call 0808 312 861 861. We also have the NNPCL declaring a state of emergency. Rufai says all talks, right? It's just headlines. What do you think about it? Do you think they're serious at this time? Because we have the group CEO.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, my name is Harry. I'm calling you from Durumi to get through this morning, and for the first time I'm really pleased for the morning session. Okay, I want to talk about the Southeast and their request for a new state. As much as yes, I feel there are those issues that Mr. Rufai pointed out, but I think for the political dynamics of Nigeria of today, I think it is out of place. I even thought the major problem that would have been discussed was the size of the states. In the southeastern states are very, very small. So I think if anything, we should be talking about how big, from where are you going to get the extra states? Yes, where are you hoping to get the extra states from? And that is why I think the issue of talking about two states is a no-no. But I think as of today, the political dynamics in the states, in the country is such that warrants for the Southeast to have an extra state, at least for whatever it's worth. Yes, we know there are issues of hunger in the land, the infrastructural deficit and all that. But I don't think Southeast is the worst hit when it comes to hunger. As of today, there are a lot of other states that are by far poor when you look at poverty indices in Nigeria ahead of Southeast. Yes, we have infrastructural deficit, and as an Igbo man, I've always been having that issue. I think it is for us, it behoves on us, the Igbos, to hold our leaders accountable, to make sure that they begin to address the issues of infrastructural deficit. And while we are at it, I think it's also important to have an extra state in the Southeast. It also brings the equality of senators and House of Assembly members, at least that come from that region. And so that will account for something for the region when maybe issues are put to vote and all that. For me, I think there is need for an extra state in the Southeast, not more than one. And they are pursuing that at the federal level. I also encourage all Igbos. The truth is that Igbos have really been worst hit when it comes to leadership, and I think that's our being. Every woman should begin to take deliberate measures to look at who becomes our leaders politically, and I think that is what my opinion will be on that matter.
Mr. Harry, I have a question.
We need an extra state.
I have a question. When it comes to security, we've seen the sit-at-home order, which is still on up until now. We've seen individuals who have been killed. The other day in the news, Alex Oti had to give scholarship to two officers' children just because their parents were killed. So if we have another state, isn't it going to be the same thing all over again? We have these issues of security playing out in those states.
Yes, the soldiers. I honestly have an issue with the soldiers that were killed. in the during the sit-at-home that happened. But first of all, recently we heard about killings in Borno State, in Goza specifically, right?
Mm.
Southeast is not the only state with what do you call it, insecurity issues. In fact, before the issue was the issue Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, Southeast was peaceful. But you'll find out that within that same period, Southeast was the most militarized region in the country for no reason. There were killings in the north, but it is the Southeast that had soldiers drafted to. You understand? I think the issue of killing in the region is something that, just like Mr. Larry said yesterday, I think some people do not want that to stop. I think it is sponsored in some ways, right? And I think it doesn't have anything to do with the state creation that people are talking about. If those that are actually, at some level intend for that to stop, I'm sure it will stop. It has nothing to do with the Igbos. It has nothing to do. I'm an Igbo man, and it hurts my heart every day I hear that there is a killing of Oseni in the region. I abhor it. I don't support it. But why is it happening? I know a lot of Igbo men like me that don't want it. I hardly travel anymore, right? So I don't think it has any relationship with what we are talking about. If anything, I think some people are deliberately sponsoring that killing issue to, I don't know, for whatever reason. I hope with time we are going to find out. But why are you militarizing the Southeast in the first place? What was happening before the militaries got there? Yeah, I grew up in Borno State. I saw what happened with Boko Haram. I saw what happened. But even at the heat of Boko Haram, Borno State was not as militarized as what I used to see in Imo State from where I come whenever I travel. So there is no correlation, if you ask me.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry, for your time. We absolutely appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Go ahead and give me another call. 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation as well. I'll go ahead and pay some bills. When I come back, I'll be speaking with Mr. Larry. Welcome back. This is still the front page review, Voice of the People 96.1 FM. Now you have a voice. Go ahead and give us a call this morning if you've been listening. 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618. I'll take that again. 0808 312 8618 is the number to call to be a part of the conversation this morning. We're also live on YouTube at Voice of the People Abuja. Voice of the People Abuja. Go ahead and join our live feed, Voice of the People Abuja. And let's have a conversation or two as regards what exactly is. The network this morning is just absolute bonkers, but we'll try as much as we can. Looking at other headlines this morning, we also have, let me see, of the headlines this morning. Maybe we'll just play some of the voices in television. Well, let's listen to what he has.
I'd like the one in charge of the territory. People come out what their choice is. It's not about you. You came in afterwards. Like I said before, two of you might not get on properly, but you must be able to work for the interests of the FCT people. So please say they are not, because she's the one representing them in the Senate, and she's the one they are concerned. So if you are launching roads and you are launching,
we have Mr. Larry. Network issues.
Declare the state of emergency. This is something that should have been done.
Sort of issues from the past administration. I mean, during the Buhari's administration, we saw the NNPCL go through a lot as regards importation of methanol. We had fuel queues, the worst that Nigeria has seen so far. Do you think he would have that honesty and transparency that has been declared against people who want to hinder oil production in the country?
I don't know what motivated him to declare the war. So I don't know whether he has the motivation to fall in the first place. He has been part of the system, and they never really did well. But sometimes people change, especially when circumstances compel them to do so. Maybe there are some things that we may not know that made him and his colleagues decide that it's time to make a difference. So I really ordinarily wouldn't have the confidence to believe that he can make a difference, because he has been part of the rot in the system. However, there may be things that will compel him. One of the reasons people continue to perform abysmally is because they are not held accountable, and they are not even removed from the position. So if there is a threat, for instance, that if you don't sit up, you leave. If there is something that is pushing him to perform, then he may perform. I don't want to believe that he just woke up one day. There will be a reason for this, and I hope the reason will be compelling enough for him to be able to confront the people that he had been condoning their misdeeds all this time, because that is the problem. He has been part of the problem. Maybe he will sit up and do the needful. These things are not rocket science. They can be done. But you see, you do what your master asks you to do. That's the truth. If you dance out of tune,
who pays the piper detects the tune.
Yes, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So ultimately, we are waiting for Mr. President and the men who have the real control, the puppet masters sometimes, and all of those things. It's the box stops on the table of the boss. So if the boss decides to put down his foot hard on anybody who creates problems for his administration, some of those things should be taken care of. And if the person can't do it, the boss has the power to remove the person. Unfortunately, that's not happening. So
watch and see.
People take Nigeria for granted.
All right, let's watch and see.
promise. But let's see how it unfolds. We'll be here. We'll be here. We'll be watching.
All right. Meanwhile, we have Aliko Dangote complaining about the hike of interest rates at almost 30% by the CBN. Last month, we saw an increment from 24.7%. When the MPC met, we saw an increment from 26.7% to about 28.25% or so. So this is almost 30%. So we have a Dangote complaining about the fact that with the present interest rates regime, it will be difficult to create jobs or even have any sort of growth in the economy so far. What's your take on this?
Yeah, and we are servicing the loans with lesser interest rates. We suddenly realize that they have to spend much more. And I don't know what some of these politics, there's liquidity, they want to do this, they want to do that. But I think we need to sit down with experts and think of holistic solutions to our products. And some of the solutions we need to promote are not what I call technical solutions. They are not technical solutions, they are common sense solutions. For instance, when we talk about the value of the Naira depreciating consistently, I've said every time I speak about that subject that we should tame our appetite for foreign goods. It's not a rocket science to know that if we use foreign toothpick, we use foreign tissue paper, so we have manufacturers in Nigeria that can meet our needs. We have foreign subjects, we have foreign practically everything. And we are even looking for more such market shares. You'll be embarrassed. You'll be actually sorry for Nigeria. So you begin to ask yourself, how can we manage this economy when we don't know the fundamentals? And the leaders we have are not able to make in Nigeria saying Nigeria is not local to Nigeria.
Mr. Larry, please, let's not go there.
Sorry,
let's not go there. Must we eat rice?
When the world was young, rice was a luxury. And if you ask me, rice is not particularly good food. Rice is that is processed and kept in a silo for textile clothing here. We export jobs to Asia and import their clothing. And our leaders are not deliberately planning how to stop that outflow of foreign exchange. Just sit down about dashing us money every time. And then they also sit down and talk about labor example. Rule number one in prosperity is don't spend more than you earn. At the end of the day, we want the nation to prosper. It doesn't work that way. So we're just killing businesses. And you look at the number of businesses that just fled Nigeria. It's gotten to a point where even Nigerians are going to invest elsewhere. Ordinary Nigerians, I mean, relocating to places like Rwanda and Ghana to do business. So we need to sympathize with Aliko Dangote. It's good to raise the alarm because I'm beginning to wonder if Dangote is raising alarm, what happens to the ordinary businessman? That's for thoughts.
All right, let's move on to the National Assembly pushing for 2 more Southeast states, Olu states, and we also have another one that I think is different from these 2 additional states. We have the ATT. So this is the Anioma and Adada states, respectively, and there's still the one for the ATT state. It's a really confusing.
That Nigeria has not. ATT meanwhile means central. That is in the middle, central. And one of the innovative ideas about the ATT states is that they are practically borrowing local government areas from all the existing Southeast states. Which is innovative and interesting. And you have the other side, well, that is another state, basically part of Enugu state. But what we are looking at here is equity. Equity meaning the Southeast deserves to get 1 more state. Considering that a lot happens in Nigeria on the basis of that equation called state and local government. And the Southeast, by virtue of their capacity to be entrepreneurial, can actually survive. In other words, any state in the Southeast has the potential to be wealthy, not just viable. If you have a good governor in any state in the Southeast, they'll be very well. Anambra has always been there as one of the states that can do well without IGR. Of course, if you go to Abia, they are the capital, practically the capital of innovation, technological innovation, and other kinds of innovation in Nigeria. You can go on and on and on. So I think the call for one more state in the Southeast is a call that well-meaning Nigerians should support the same way some of them supported the election of a Southeast president. It will help to reintegrate Ndibo. It will help to create this spirit of nationhood in Nigeria. I mean, it is obvious marginalization. It is obvious being unfair to a group when every other person has 6 of these things, and then you give the person 5 for no reason at all, for no fathomable reason. So one of the things we must do is to create that equity first, give Ndibo a sense of belonging and the sense that they are part of this family, and then from there you can begin to have other conversations. But I think it is a call that should be heeded, considering the way Nigeria is structured, because
Mr.
everything in
Larry,
Nigeria is about local government and states.
Mr. Larry, at the moment we have 5 states, right? What has been done so far in terms of the monies development, especially the southeasterners to themselves in the state? What has been done so far? Is it something that would, is it a precedent that would warrant another state being given to the southeast? Because if you look at the southeast, it's grossly underdeveloped, even with the number of states that it has at the moment, with the FAC allocations, every single thing that is also still getting from the government, right? So what's one more state? Wouldn't it be the same thing all over again?
You know, there's something I said. I said that if we want to facilitate the spirit of nationhood and create political equity, I didn't say business equity, I didn't say development equity. The whole Nigeria is grossly underdeveloped. That's the truth of the matter. Every part of Nigeria, including your FCT, is grossly underdeveloped. It's grossly underdeveloped. Marina is not Lagos. Lagos includes also villages where people don't have basic toilet facilities. So Nigeria as a is grossly underdeveloped. What I was discussing is political equity. What the people do with what is given to them, different matter. But you notice that I said political equity that will facilitate nationhood. The reason Nigeria is underdeveloped is because citizens have not learned how to hold their leaders accountable for money they get and they generate. Most governors in Nigeria and most leaders, I dare say, do not account for the internally generated revenue from their respective states and domains. They just treat the money as they like. They see it as a personal income that they choose what to give the state and what to put in their pockets. And then, of course, when they go to Abuja and national cake, which nobody bothers to bake anyway, everybody goes to collect. When they collect that, nobody tells us how we eat the cake. Just eat and people the remnants. It's a Nigerian phenomenon. And the last time I did column of the states and reduce the number, I'm saying basically that when we want to make states viable, we should do that across the board. The states are not viable across the nation. There are few states that are viable. That, you know, you have Lagos, Kano, Anambra, a few states that can sustain their structure without federal allocations. And we don't want to necessarily use that parameter, not because it's not something we should think about, but because I said we need political equity. And any state you create out the southeast can be viable. The fact that it's not viable is because of maladministration. I was saying the other time I was in a Ebonyi state, and we had, by virtue of the solid minerals in the state and by virtue of the potential to be the food basket of not only the southeast but Nigeria. Ebonyi State was making and processing rice before the rest of this country woke up. So I told them, no, the state is not poor. It's a matter of how leaders manage resources. We have leaders who are not entrepreneurial in their thinking. They are professional politicians, and in Nigeria, politicians just know how to share money. Sorry, but that's the primary reason people join politics, to make money and share the money. And so the truth is, if you give Southeast 6 states, that is the 6th state, that state will necessarily be viable if you have a good leader. We don't want to discuss viability, because if you want to discuss viability, then there shouldn't be any state in Nigeria, apart from a few states that by virtue of maybe the historical importance in commerce and the nature of the people are viable. Kano, viable because it's Kano. You know the history of Kano. Lagos is viable because it's Lagos. Anambra is viable because of the nature of the people there and a few other states.
Hello. All right. I should let you know that you can call in and join the conversation on 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618. Some people are arguing that it's going to be a waste regardless, because, I mean, to whom much is given, much is expected. You know, in terms of the number of states that it has at the moment, the Southeast has at the moment, what has it done with it? Why do you need one more if it's going to be the same issues all over and over again? So let me know your thought on this. 0808 312 9619. Oh my god, I am mixing up the numbers, pardon me. 0808 312 8618. 0808 312 8618 is the number to call. You can still send a WhatsApp message to 0700 010 961 961. All right, we have Mr. Larry back on the phone. Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, so we're talking about the
saying
Southeast.
basically that
Yes.
topic is about, for me, political equity that will help us build nationhood, and then we can move from there.
Okay.
It's not necessarily about whether the state will be viable or not, because all the states in the Southeast have the potential to be very viable, just like other states in the country. It's maladministration and bad leadership that makes them stunted giants.
All right, we'll watch and see how that plays out, because it's still in the National Assembly to move to pass to second reading, and then.
Sorry, let me also emphasize this. I think the people of the Southeast should harmonize their requests and focus on one state. I think that's the way to go. And that state has some kind of innovative appeal to me. I think it will be more powerful if everybody comes together and says, we want one state, and this is the state we want. If you put too many cards on the table, it divides your capacity to place your demand in a compelling way. So I'm also using this platform to recommend that the political leaders, political thinkers of the Southeast should harmonize their positions and then say, this is the state we want, and present that state so that we don't have a conflict of requests and interests, which may lead to people sabotaging other people's requests. And in that case, nobody gets any state at the end of it.
All right, let's move on to Niger State, where the governor, I think there's some connectivity issue. Hello, Mr. Larry.
I'm here.
All right, in less than maybe 2 minutes, I want your take on the Niger State governor giving NYSC core members 200,000 naira each, about 1,600 of them. 200,000 naira. What's your take on that?
First of all, I don't know why he gave them 200,000 naira.
To be able to what's it called now? Settle into the state. That's what he said. To settle into the state.
It's a very, for me, it comes with mixed feelings. It comes with mixed feelings because sometimes I don't understand how these people make choices. It's good to take care of core members. It's very good. But you see, I don't believe in this issue of doling out cash to people just like that. You know, some of the people you're going to give 200,000 naira may still redeploy and not even settle in finally. So having said that, I also ask the same question. Is he treating his workers the same way? People who work for the state. It is good to make core members comfortable, but do they have a corpus lodge in different establishments? Public establishments in the state pay allowances to core members. These are fundamental questions. If you dash them 200,000 and you make headlines and we discuss you on programs like this, so how much do you pay them every month? How much do the ministries and parastatals in your state pay them every month? Because very often we're impressed by this throwing around cash and doling out cash. My take is that we need to become a thinking nation. If you want to promote the welfare of core members, it should come with helping them settle in, which doesn't have to be monetized, ensuring